Hi, I'm Harry Rock, and welcome to another edition of the Westfield Council on Aging Presents. This is a special collaborative program between Tina Gorman, Executive Director of the Westfield Senior Center, and Pete Coles, producer of WCPC Westfield Cable Channel 15. Our topic today is the Westfield YMCA and their classes to fight PD for those with Parkinson's disease, the Live Strong series for cancer survivors, and the Active Older Adult program, just to name a few. My guest, who I'm very excited to have in the studio with us today, is Andrea Allard, CEO of the YMCA of Greater Westfield, and Michelle Urbanski, the Health and Wellness Director. So, Andrea and Michelle, thanks so much for coming in. Excited to have you here. I was thinking about this when I was prepping for the show, trying to think about how long the two of you have been involved. Andrea, you've been with this Y a long time.
I started this Y when I was 7, so I wasn't quite connected to the AOA programs at that time.
But you're moving closer to it every day.
A few more years and I qualify to go on the trip, so that's an exciting day for me.
So 7, you started coming in
Camp Shepherd.
In Camp Shepherd.
Yeah, Camp Shepherd. Yeah.
Oh.
But I've been the CEO now in Westfield for 11 years.
That's amazing. I can't believe it's been that long already. Yeah, well done. And Michelle, how about you? How long have you been associated with the Y?
Well, I started taking classes probably 18 years ago, something like that. But I started instructing 11 or 12 years ago, and my current role, it'll be 2 years in October.
Wow, good. Well, you were a home run when I saw you getting hired. I said, did we see you running all over the Y? I said, boy, this woman is fit just from how much you move around and how fast you do it. So let's talk about the classes that you offer to the active adult community within the greater Westfield area. I guess my first question is, why is it important to even offer classes to this age group? Why is that a major focus? And I know it's a major focus of the Y, but how do you view that as part of our mission and purpose?
I think it's a huge part of it, actually. There's so many benefits that you get from exercising, not only from a physical standpoint, but also from a mental and emotional standpoint. So, it gets people out, it gets them exercising, which is good for their health, and it's good for their brain and mental health as well, to come, have classes, socialize with people, getting them out of their house. It provides them some structure and some purpose to their days. So very important.
Yeah. How many seniors do we have, active older adults coming in?
Spoken like a past executive director, Harry. It's all about the numbers with you.
I will say they are our biggest population as far as attending classes and whatnot. So, every morning actually starting with my classes in the morning, so 5:45 or 6 o'clock through till about 11 o'clock, it's very, very busy. And, we've got classes that have 30 plus people in there. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. In speaking to Andrea's point, having been the former CEO, Executive Director of the Y during my time, again, it was a huge part of our programming focus. And to see all of those people coming in every day, so faithful, and not only just for the class, but the social camaraderie and the interaction that it provided them, going out to breakfast afterwards, looking out for each other if somebody doesn't show up. They're calling them to make sure to find out, because at this point in their life, you never know.
No.
Right. Yeah. Each class builds their own small community, and they're connected and committed and dedicated to the Y and to each other. So it's kind of a great thing. Again, it's very social, but it also has the physical piece of it as well.
Right. So let's talk specifically Fight PD, which stands for Parkinson's disease. What is that program?
So it's been proven that exercise is really important in staving off some of the symptoms of Parkinson's.
And before we go there, let's define what Parkinson's disease is.
So it's a neurological disease that just gets progressively worse. So what we're trying to do is keep those symptoms at bay as long as possible. And exercise has been proven to do that. Boxing especially has been proven to be beneficial, so that's part of the program. But we also do strength training. We do things to help them with their posture, with their stance, with their gait, with their balance. So there's many components of the class. And then we also do some cognitive drills as well, which can be really challenging for them because that's one of the things that goes when you have Parkinson's.
Are there very many people that are coming in for that?
We have between 5 and 10 that come in regularly. They kind of come in and out depending on how they're feeling, doctor's appointments, how their medication's working, things like that. But we have a really consistent group, and they have a camaraderie amongst each other, and they watch out for each other as well. Like if somebody's not there for a while, they're, hey, where's so-and-so? So it's been probably the most rewarding program that I've ever run.
Did you start the program, or was it going on before you got here?
No, I started at the Y. Somebody came to Andrea and myself. She was actually a Y employee looking for something for her dad because there was a place called Dopafit in Southampton which offered classes for people with Parkinson's. They closed, and there's been a couple offshoots. There's some classes run in Southampton and at other Ys, but there was nothing in our area. So that kind of sparked a 6-month process before we got it off the ground. Lots of shadowing, going to see other classes. I got some certifications so that I would know a little bit more about the disease and what works for them.
Michelle's being really humble right now. She really took the bull by the horns and took hey, why don't we start a Parkinson's program? Did all the research, got all the training, found out what she could online, connected with the experts, and designed the class from the ground up. So truly launched a brand new program to the Y.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, do you coordinate with medical offices or the hospital or the medical community at all, or do people just find you here?
Well, so I worked with this woman named Deb Ellis, who's a physical therapist that specializes in neurological diseases. So I got connected with her. She actually helped me tremendously building this program. So she has her information out there. The other Ys that may be too far for some people, like Northampton and Greenfield, they offer programs as well. So we work with them as well, and then we just try to get word out as best we can through our own channels. So
yeah, wow. And are they able to get to the Y themselves? Do they have good mobility? Do they need wheelchairs? What kind of situation are they dealing with?
So right now, the class that we offer, they have to be able to at least work the class on their own. So we don't have anybody in wheelchairs. We have somebody that comes in and maybe uses a cane just to kind of get about, but for the most part, they're still mobile. They can walk around the room, they can do all the exercises, they can get up and down off the floor. I've been to other classes because they usually have 2 levels, for people that are more progressed. We just haven't gotten there yet because I wanted to start getting my toes wet before diving in too deep.
And then how often does this class run?
Twice a week, Monday and Friday. We start at 11. By the time we finish stretching and everything, it's usually about 12:15 when we're done.
Okay. And is this year-round?
Yep. Year-round. It's a drop-in class, so members, it's free too. If you're not a member, it's $5 a class, or they can buy a package of 10 where they just redeem as they come in, so there's no commitment because you never know what's going to happen, how they're feeling that day. So if they have to skip a class and they've paid for it, we didn't want to do that. And we wanted to make it accessible to anyone, so we kept the price low. So it runs all year round, but we typically, the people, they come, they stay. They're there twice a week, every week.
That is amazingly affordable.
Yeah.
That was our goal with this program.
Right.
It was like we wanted to, make sure that it was accessible to everyone, and that, if you're a member, it's free, like 90%, 99% of their classes at the Y, and to have a small drop-in fee for those who didn't want the full membership. It's just really important that people have access to things that are going to keep them healthy and, give them that balanced development of spirit, mind, and body as they're fighting this disease. So the price point was really important.
Yeah, that's great. So from their standpoint, this is a progressive disease that will just continue to get worse and worse. Is there any way to stop it or slow it down medically, or?
Exercise, as I mentioned, is one of the ways that you can slow down the symptoms of it. As far as slowing down the disease or stopping it, no, they haven't found a way to do that. But there's all kinds of advances that they're finding with medications. There's brain stimulation, deep brain stimulation that they're trying. There's constantly new stuff coming out that gives hope anyway that they'll find a way to let people live, a good quality life.
And in the class, do you see improvements or impact? What do you notice over time with these individuals?
Oh, absolutely. I notice it in their gait, because we do a thing called rhythmic walking a lot of times, where they're swinging, taking big steps so they get out of that shuffling mode. I've seen improvements there. I've seen improvements in their cognition as far as remembering the sequence of punches that we have them do during boxing. I had one woman who was delighted because she did like a slow jog around the room, and she never thought she would have done that again. So, and I've had people tell me their doctors have seen differences. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's really, and the people that are coming in, are they at all different levels in the progression of this? You're probably not working with a consistent population that's all at the same point of disease impact.
Well, interestingly, the people that we've gotten so far, most of them are in the 6 to 10 year range out as far as when they first got diagnosed. I wouldn't say they're homogenous, but they're all kind of in the same stage. We have a couple people that are definitely further progressed, but they still come and they do what they can, which is that's a beautiful thing to see. And it presents in different ways too, because some people have the tremors and some people have more problem with cognition. Some people have this thing called dyskinesia where they involuntarily are moving. So it presents in different ways, but they're all able to complete everything that I ask them to do, even if we have to modify a little bit.
Wow. And so specifically, can you just run through what does a class look like? How do you start it? What's the midpoint of the class, and how do you wrap it up, just in general?
So, it changes every day, but typically we'll start with stretching, usually some kind of dynamic stretching. Sometimes we'll do rhythmic walking. I like to do some strength training, boxing. Sometimes we'll throw some cardio in there because high-intensity training is really good for people with Parkinson's. So we do things to try to get their heart rate up, like they're doing burpees on the stage and, jumping jacks and skaters and things like that. And then we try to end with something cognitive, whether it's doing, a series through the ladder. Sometimes we'll play a game where we're throwing the ball and coming up with something that starts with the letter S, or dropping down by fours, counting backwards from 100 while they're doing something else. It's the multitasking piece that can be difficult. So that's kind of what our class looks like. There's a little bit of almost everything.
Wow. And to gain access to this, they need to meet you first. You have to have medical clearance. What's required for people to participate?
Yeah, so we have a medical clearance form and an intake form just to give me some idea of what they're experiencing. And it's very simple. Their doctors are going to sign off on it. And then, I just ask them what kind of issues that they have just so I can be aware. But it's a simple process.
And people can join at any time. It's not based on a session date like a lot of our classes are.
No.
None of our classes are based on session dates anymore here.
Okay.
We just roll with them.
Yep.
Do all classes just keep going, or are there breaks between? There's no sessions?
Not anymore.
Not anymore for group exercise.
Oh, is that right?
It's just continuous. Yep.
Wow. That's fabulous.
Yeah. So anybody can come in, and there's nothing that they've needed to learn previously to get to the point that we're at. If they come in brand new, they're going to do fine because we do something different every week. And there's 2 instructors, myself and Shauna McCrary. So we're there. So it's a good member to instructor ratio. So we can help them with things if they're having trouble.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Live Strong. That program got started during my time there. It's been going a long time. Yeah, we had Live Strong.
I would beg to differ, Harry. Like, Live Strong actually didn't come out until I think I was like in the Springfield Y. So if you brought it there, I brought it back because it was not there when I got there.
It was
All
not
right.
at the Westfield Y.
Well, yeah, it wasn't
We
at
went
the
out for
West-
training.
Right.
Right.
Sydney and Alex and I.
Right. So I think I did that probably 2 or 3 years in because we launched it when I was at the downtown Hartford Y. Then I came here and said, this Westfield needs to do this because it's just a great program for the Y.
So can you describe that program?
That one's a little bit more cut and dried as far as what we do. So it's 12 weeks. It's a free program for anybody in any stage of cancer survivorship. Whether we have people that are still in treatment sometimes, some people, 20 years out. It's twice a week for an hour and a half, and we basically have them warm up. We have them do some strength downstairs doing our circuit. Then we have them do a longer set of cardio. Then we do some stretching, balance, and then we bring things in like we'll have them take a chair yoga class. We'll have them take a pool class, chair massage. We have nutritionists come in and talk to them. So we try to bring in some special things, break it up a little bit, show them a little bit of everything. But the goal there, we measure at the beginning, we measure at the end. The goal is to get stronger.
And what kinds of cancer are people dealing with in that program?
Everything. I mean, breast cancer is a big one. We've had several people with prostate cancer. But, I mean, you name it, pretty much everything. We've had pancreatic, we've had lung, we've had just about everything.
And are they still suffering with the cancer? Are they still going through it, or have they completed their cancer journey by the time they get to the Y?
Some people are still going through it. Some people will come in and they're still getting chemo, or they still have to get radiation. So that does not preclude them from coming in. But then some people are through, and some people are in remission, and then it comes back. All different stages.
And when does that program run?
We're starting a new session July 10th, so really good timing. It's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:45 to 10:15 in the morning. And right now, I think we have 5 or 6 people signed up. So we have some room. If people are interested, they can just call me. And there's 4 sets of paperwork that I need filled out, which I usually email over to them. Then they come in. We do an intake with them. We do some assessments so that we can measure them again at the end.
Okay. And do you see a improvement with these people having gone through the program?
Yeah, almost without fail, everybody improves. They improve in their testing, but they also improve in how they feel, how they're functioning in their everyday life. A lot of these people come in and they're fairly deconditioned, so they leave and they're stronger and they're more empowered to get about their daily life, which is really the key here.
Oh, that's fantastic. And again, they can come in. This is something that we're doing. It's not. Are we working with the medical community at all on this, or is this strictly a Y program?
It's strictly a Y program, so it was launched by YUSA probably 13, 14 years ago, specifically the Live Strong program. So there's a lot of training that's involved in it. Like I said, Michelle, Cindy, and Alex at the time went out to Chicago. It was cohorts, a lot of analysis of your Y and what your Y looks like, and when you're from a cancer survivor point of view, like going into a clean facility, an accessible facility, and then we go from there. So it's been running a good long time.
Yeah.
And do you find that the people that get involved, do they stay with it? Are they pretty consistent in coming once they get invested into the programs? Both this and like the Parkinson's program?
So, I mean, we ask them to make a commitment for the 3 months that they're here to try not to miss too many sessions because we want to keep that momentum going. Some people join afterwards. In fact, as we were walking out the door, I had a member that walked in. He decided he was going to join after the Live Strong program. So, we get people that'll come in and get a membership because they liked what they were doing. They see how much we have to offer. And so they continue on even after the program's over.
That's fantastic. So other programs, what other things are going on at the Y for for group exercise or just even individual workouts that they can get involved in?
So we have our AOA classes, which is active older adult. We've got a series of classes for them. We have a Going Strong class, which is a mix of cardio and strength. We have Better Balance and Bones. We have chair yoga. We've got some pool classes, but they're not limited. So, if you're an older adult, you're not limited to taking just those classes. You can try anything. So I teach early morning, cycling, boot camp, strength. I have active older adults in all those classes. People come in the evening time. So we offer a whole host of classes that anyone can try. And, in addition to that, we have trips that we offer for AOA people. We're going to see Footloose next week. We're going to Saratoga in August. We've got the AOA picnic in September and a couple other trips before the end of the year. So we've got those trips. And then in addition to that, we do things like host a lunch at the Tech Academy. Those have been really popular.
What is that?
So we just have their culinary department fix us lunch. Pat Kennedy has brought his jazz band in for entertainment.
So they come here for lunch?
Yeah, yeah. And the food is amazing. Everyone raves about it. And it's a chance for them to just socialize. It's really inexpensive. They come in for an hour and a half. They get to socialize, listen to a little bit of music. So those have been really popular. We brought in somebody from the Alzheimer's Association who just did a program on dementia and recognizing the signs and things you can do to help stave that off. And we had a nutritionist come in back in April, the end of April as well. So we try to mix it up and make sure that it's more than just fitness.
Yeah, that's terrific. Andrea, when you look at the programming profile of who you offer programs to and classes, how important and what percentage of what the Y does would you say is focused on active older adults?
It's tough to say what percentage, Harry, because
Right.
the Y is for all, and we cross all age brackets, right? So we have 2.9-year-olds in our daycare. We have the mom and me, or dad, parent and me, supporting adult in child swim classes that can start at like 6 months old, and then we go up through. We have if you're an active older adult at the Y and you're a member in good standing and you turn 90, you get a free membership to the Y. So we have our Nifty 90s club. So we have like 8 or 9 members of our Y who are well into their 90s.
Oh, do you? Right.
Yeah, you have a great woman who I think she just turned 101
In May,
and she drives herself to the Y, does her pool exercises, and drives herself home, and she's pretty spry.
Right.
So I don't know if we necessarily look at a diagram of we need to do 45% active older adult classes. What we do is we're always looking at our programming, looking what our community needs are, and then developing programs based on what we're hearing from the community.
And do you find that with the active older adult or in general, are people more inclined to take memberships and the classes are part of their benefit of membership, or do people just come looking for a class and that's their only level of involvement?
We no longer do the drop-in fee because our guest pass is $10. So if they just want to come to take one class, then it's $10 a class. So I would say most of the people are the full-time members. We do have a senior rate, so it is pretty accessible, and you get a lot of quality for what we're charging people on a monthly basis.
Yeah, no, those are very affordable, and that's terrific. Making sure that price is not a barrier to participation.
Right. And we do offer financial assistance. Like last year, the YMCA distributed back over $175,000 in financial assistance to the community. So that whether that's for membership, so people can be on their health and wellness journey, whether it's for childcare, camp, swim lessons, swim team, affordability should not be a barrier to entry for the Y. So no one's turned away for an inability to pay. It's part of our mission and being part of being a not-for-profit organization. We're here to serve the community and make sure that people can get in.
So to that point, if someone does have financial constraints and they feel that they could benefit from a scholarship, what's involved as far as following through on that?
It's really easy. You come to the front desk, you ask for a financial assistance form. There's a few questions you need to answer, a little bit of confirmation of income that we verify, and then we offer you a scholarship to the Y. So we do pretty much 50% off, and then if there's circumstances beyond that, we'll work with you and say, what can you afford? And we'll go with that. So we know people up to 75%, or in some rare circumstances, sometimes it's just 100%, based on need, or people have a lot that they deal with. You talk about people diagnosed with cancer, and you talk about people diagnosed with Parkinson's, and they have their struggles. So there's just these stories that come through our doors, and it's a no-brainer to say, well, we're just giving them 100% scholarship based on need and the fact that they need to be here, and we can provide a service.
Very cool. When you look at the programs that active older adults take, I know you do a lot of programs in the pool. You do land-based programs, essentially. Is any one more popular than the other, and what are the advantages of one over another, or are there?
So some of our more popular classes, Better Balance and Bones and Chair Yoga seem to be very, very popular, as well as the Going Strong 1 and 2 series. As far as beneficial, I mean, it's really best if people do a little bit of everything. So strength training is hugely important when it comes to anyone, but especially active older adults, because you want to stave off that muscle loss that happens just naturally, right? As you get older, you lose a percentage of your muscle loss, and the whole use it or lose it is absolutely true, and even more so as you age. So the strength part is important. I think people sometimes have misguided ideas of what that means. It doesn't mean that you're, pumping iron necessarily like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything, but we do have several classes that incorporate it into it or are specifically strength training. But then you've got the cardio component that's beneficial as far as, working your heart, increasing your oxygen level, mood elevation, all sorts of things. So, that's important. Flexibility, of course, is important to ward off stiffness, and balance is also important to help prevent falls and things like that. So it's really good if you can do a little bit of everything. That's always my recommendation, cross-train.
Yeah.
And try something new, because they've shown that when you do something new as you're older, it's really good for your brain health. So whereas you might be nervous to try a new class, grab a friend to try it, or just talk to the instructor ahead of time, say, I'm a little bit nervous, but we have the most amazing instructors at the Y. I can't say enough about them, and they're so good with their members. That's why they're there. They're there to engage with and teach members. So.
Yeah, very
cool. The success of our classes is really, it's the instructors when it comes down to it. They are amazing. They're committed to their craft and helping others. So it's, and that's where you have 32 people, 35 people in a chair yoga class, or, the Going Strong 1 and 2, or, we're moving the lane lines over because we have more people in the class, and so the lap swimmers might lose a lane for an hour because there's 40 people in this water class. So it's really, the strength of our organization is based on the strength of our people.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you look at fitness recommendations for active older adults, is there a prescription out there? Is it 3 days a week? Is it every day? Are there certain things that they should focus on or think about, whether they're at the Y or at home?
3 days a week would be the minimum. I mean, the recommended is 150 minutes a week of exercise. People, they usually break it down into 3 days a week. If you can do more than that, that is fantastic. Really, you should be moving somehow every day, right? They talk about how sitting is the new smoking as far as what it does to your longevity, how it shortens your life. That's really important. There's a lot to be lost when you're sitting around reading watching TV, if you spend too much time, it can be really detrimental to your health. So if you can move as often as possible, I personally think that if you could get a couple days of strength training and then a couple days of some cardio and throw in some balance and flexibility there, they don't have to be separate things. A lot of our classes incorporate a lot of that already. That would be ideal. But a minimum of 3 days a week to keep you healthy.
And do you see many people just coming in on their own and working out in the Y, not taking classes? They just kind of do their own program?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, classes are not for everyone. So you'll see, we've got 2 cardio rooms. You'll see people in there. There's this one guy that comes in. I think he's there for an hour and a half every day, just going crazy on the bike, and then he jumps on the elliptical. He's there every day. Lots of people in our weight rooms. Our wellness center, which is a circuit of matrix equipment, is really, really popular as well. So if a class is not your thing, even though there's a lot of benefits to that, we still have plenty for people to do on their own. So, and if they ever need any help figuring something out, using a machine, we offer free wellness appointments, up to 3 wellness appointments so they can get used to the machines. We offer free weight training if somebody's interested in learning that. So we try to offer something for everybody.
Oh, that's cool. Well, this has been a really interesting conversation about the programming opportunities to our active older adult community here in the greater Westfield area. Any final thoughts that you have, anything that we haven't talked about that we should share with our listening audience?
I would just say this. There's so many factors that you cannot control, genetics, whether you have an accident or something like that. But the things you can control, exercise, nutrition, sleep. Exercise is probably the most important thing that you can do. And the more research that comes out, they're saying especially as you age, it's one of the number one things you can do to keep yourself in good health. So I encourage people, whether it's at the Y or at home or outside, keep active.
That's great. Andrea, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Michelle's done a great job of wrapping up our AOA programs. The one thing we left out, which, we don't want to leave it out, is we do have pickleball at the Y.
Oh, yeah. How can I forget?
So let's talk about pickleball.
So if you are, interested in pickleball, we have a really great group of people at the Y. They play on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Michelle. Yep. We gave them an extra half hour. They're in the gym. We have 3 nets. We use the old badminton lines because the Westfield Y used to have quite an intense badminton program, but it's the same layout in the court. So the gym's air conditioned, so it's great in the summer, and it's a great intro to pickleball. So people who are still competitive, but they aren't pickleball crazy, I'll call it.
Right.
So they enjoy the sport, the camaraderie, and playing. So it's a great place to learn and pick it up. And it's a very welcoming group. So you could walk in and not know what's going on or ever played before, and they'll take you under their wing and help you experience this sport of pickleball.
Yeah, it's amazing how that
it
sport
has
has
blown
really taken
up.
off.
Yeah. It's actually been around since the 70s, but it's just taken off in the past few years. So
yeah, we so it went away during COVID, and that was one of the things that we did was to bring it back, and they were very happy to bring it back. And that also is a drop-in, so you don't have to be a member to be able to play. And Andrea's absolutely right that you can have no experience, and somebody will show you the basics of the game. You get to that last hour because it's 10:30 to 1, 12 to 1. That's when you get the diehards. That's when you see 4 or 8 people left in the gym, and they're the ones that are really good competitive pickleball players. But it's for everybody.
What other sports are in the gym? Do you still have a basketball?
Yeah, basketball is big. We have designated times for teens. We have open gyms. We have adult basketball. We have over 30 basketball. So that's big. We're starting, Michelle brought back volleyball, drop-in volleyball on Friday night. So we're starting to see volleyball take off again. Super popular, cross-generational drop-in. So from teens to everybody in above. We have our new operations director is starting some youth clinics this summer, so that'll be like 3 days a week. So it'll be 2 hours of volleyball and an hour of strength and conditioning for volleyball. So those are the big ones. Our gym is used a lot for our classes. Many of our classes take place in the gym. And then there's always a swim team, right? So you're talking about sports. We do have a competitive swim team. And not only do we have a youth competitive swim team, but we have a master swim team. So they're a group that meets on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. They're self-directed, but they have their workouts. They just went to the senior games. They compete. They're another great group of people. Yeah. And, you look around the Y and you talk about senior programming, and when I look around the Y, I don't see seniors. I see, people happy, healthy, and engaged. So when you say senior programming, it's like, oh, we have pickleball. Oh, there's the master swimmers. And, they're really not seniors, but if you define it as 55 and older, they kind of are, But when I turn 55, it's going to go to 56. So it's going to keep going. So I think it's just again, the Y is really for everyone. It's for all. That's the end of our mission statement, and it's what we believe in. And if you are, say, you're just a deconditioned person, and the active older adult class is where you need to be. If you're 25 years old and that's where you're at, then we'll meet you where you're at. And there's no one at the door, carding people saying, oh, you're not 55, so you can't come into this class. Right. So it's really opening and welcoming and all kinds of great stuff going on.
Mm. Do you see intergenerational activity in any of these classes?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the morning I guess it's both ends of the day. You get people that are in their 20s or 30s, and you get people that are 60 plus. So we definitely see that. Younger generation, when they're in their teens, they typically want to do their own thing. But once they become, I would say 30 plus is when you start seeing them take classes.
Right. Mm. And you look at the senior population, and it's like Michelle said, just because we have classes that are developed and for a older population, all our classes are accessible to everyone, right? So we have people well into their 70s that are in our cycling classes, in our strength training classes. We offer over 50 group exercise classes a week, Michelle. Our schedule is packed with group exercise. So there's something for everyone, and no one's limited because of age. The only thing that limits people is their mental capacity to grasp the strengths that they have within.
Yeah, that's another thing that is really important, is a lot of times I've found people will underestimate what they are capable of doing until you push them just a little and they see what they can do, and they're oftentimes amazed. So that's pretty rewarding when you see them doing something that they were shaking their head, I can't do that. Yeah, you probably can.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, our job is to gently push people outside their comfort zone, because when you operate outside your comfort zone is where you grow. And you continue to grow, whether you're 6 months old or whether you're 96 years old. There's always that room for personal growth.
Yeah, I would just like to say I have an 86-year-old that comes to all my early morning classes, including boot camp and my strength training class. So, you're never too old. And that's the other thing, is even if you've been fairly sedentary or you're deconditioned, you're never too old to reap the benefits of starting to exercise. You will see improvement. So people shouldn't just throw their hands up and go, well, I'm 75, it's too late for me. It's not.
Well, you have heard it here. It's not too late. So what we would say here as we wrap up, if you're looking for something to do, if you need to improve your health, if you've got physical issues that you've been dealing with, then the YMCA is a place that you need to explore, because they've got a program for just about everything. Very financially affordable. There are scholarships available. It's a simple process to join, to get involved, and to participate in all the programs. And Michelle, thanks for being a part of this. You've done a great job with the Y in your short time there, and you continue to lead the charge when it comes to fitness and wellness. And certainly people, when they meet you, they get that sense of just who you are and your willingness to work with them. And Andrea, your commitment to the Y, you've been there 11 years now. It's amazing. Yeah. But love seeing where the Y continues to evolve, and its commitment to all ages as it always has been and continues to be, such an important part of our community in the mission delivery for families, adults, seniors, kids, teens. So that's terrific. I want to thank Andrea Allard, CEO of the YMCA of Greater Westfield, and Michelle Urbanski, the Health and Wellness Director of the YMCA, for being here today. This has been another episode of the Westfield Council on Aging Presents. I'm Harry Rock. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next show. Thanks.